Welcome to the Barangay of Manyo. Manyo is where the community I belong. It is one of the barangays San Remigio has. Manyo is a community that can be defined with words serenity, calmness, and peacefulness. These terms define also the people who lives in the place, and such identity remains the same and untarnished. On the other hand, quietness become parts of our image too, that even its history is silently waiting to be unraveled in order to discover her rich past. Long before the place named Manyo, it was usually called Barrio. Way back years ago, there was a couple dating. Suddenly, the guy accidentally dropped his handkerchief off from his pocket and was being picked by the man following them and said, "You're Manyo instead of Banyo." The man is Nasal Tuang, or Ngoho in Cebuano. Since then, it was named Manyo until now. But if I were given a chance to change it in the near future, I would rename it Barangay Unity. It is my ideal community, the one that is united in every aspect, because I believe it's not the way it looks that matters, but how people in there would be described. I would see to it that the place I'm in is safe, secured, and livable not just for us residents but for everyone. It should be a happy place, a surrounding where children can serve, live, and laugh. It has to be protective to its people because a community like that is no ordinary. It should be where people love to return because they know they are well taken care of. And this only happens if there is unity. Values are basic and fundamental beliefs that guide us or motivate us behind purposeful action. According to my folks, the residents of Manyo are well known of being hospitable and generous, especially when there are occasions like celebrating its annual fiesta. It is the main reason why people in different places are coming because they know that the individual living in Manyo are hospitable and generous. Today, the widespread of pandemic is not unknown to us. The COVID-19 pandemic and the resulting economic recession have negatively affected many people's mental health such as isolation, job loss, and hunger. The residents of Manyo are struggling in this new normal, but I can see through their eyes the positivity and optimism that this will come to an end and everything will be back to what we are used to. On the other hand, the future always has a degree of uncertainty to it, and things are changing at an unprecedented. There are lots of struggles, difficulties, challenges may we encounter in the future. We have to be adaptable because things move and change quicker. Adaptability requires us to stop clinging in the past and cope with unexpected disturbance in the environment. This means that we will be required to develop our abilities and adapt to an ever-changing being in a changing world. Residents in Manyo have practices which are rooted from various backgrounds including religious teachings, folk beliefs, superstitions, colonial concepts, and some regional variation of thoughts and beliefs. Most early residents of Manyo believe in worshipping in different gods, creatures, and spirits. They appease them through various practices, sacrifices, and rituals. They had also different superstitious beliefs like tabi-tabi po, puwera osog or porya buyag in Cebuano, siging-siging, and tuob. In terms of tradition, people of Manyo love to celebrate festivals or are fiesta-loving people. Manyo is famous in celebrating fiestas with religious rituals and dancing in the street through the beat of drums such as sinulog. They had also a traditional form of courtship called harana, in which men wooing their love interest through a serenade occurred outside the house. Manupo to show respect to elders, and they also celebrate Noche Buena. However, due to modernization, there are only few practicing these old beliefs and tradition as of today. As time goes by, the old beliefs and tradition will phase out. People in the future will probably think those as myths and believe more in zombie apocalypse. Before the introduction of motorized vehicles in Manyo, balsa was their primary means of transportation. Balsa is a carabao-driven cart. Since the residents of Manyo are mostly farmers, They use their carabao not only in plowing their farms but also their means of transportation. As time goes by, bike became popular and eventually became their means of transportation. However, bicycle can be ridden only 1 to 2 person, so others tend to walk, especially if their destination is not that far. Nowadays, there is a great variety of means of transport such as motorcycle, tricycle, cars, trucks, and buses. Although transportation in modern world is advancing and will continue to evolve over time, it has not always been as advanced it will be in the future, such as hyperloop transportation, underground tunnel transportation, airbus pop-up, and transit elevated bus, which is faster and high-tech. Landmarks are recognizable natural or artificial features used for navigation. The Manyo has long been considered as a tourist destination by people. Not only does it have plenty of beautiful beaches and scenic spots for people to enjoy, it also has landmarks that everyone will find interesting. During its early history, the landmarks of Manyo are Iglesia ni Cristo, Senior Santo Niño Church, and Manyo Elementary School. Today, the above-mentioned historical landmarks are still remaining. Only, Manyo Elementary School became Manyo Integrated School, and there are additional landmarks such as Verdemar Golf Course and Casa del Mar Beach Resort. Urbanization and innovation in architecture is no doubt extremely will happen in the future. Soon, there will be rising malls, museums, and parks in our community. On the other hand, preserving and restoring the old landmarks is also important because those old monuments are the reflection of our history. They help us to understand and respect people who live in olden years with different beliefs and traditions. Since the beginning of time, people have always been looking for means of communication. Long before the introduction of modern communication technologies, Manyuhanon used letters and telegraphs as their means of communication. Today, modern technology dominates our communication such as telephones, smart and mobile phones, televisions, and internet that give us access in social media platforms like Messenger, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and more that enables us to communicate online. In the near future, the residents of Manyo will communicate by sending their thoughts through a network directly into someone else's brain. They have now brain-computer interfaces that allow us to transmit thoughts directly to a computer. In addition, the residents of Manyo are able to communicate using body implants technologies and holograms. The educational system of Manyo has long and complicated history. The economic situation during old times was a great contributor and a major factor in the system of education. Due to low budget for education during this time, they had experienced shortage of classrooms and textbooks and for facilities such as laboratory and library facilities. The English language was used as a medium of instruction, and mother tongue-based language was barely used in teaching and learning process, allowing the students to feel handicapped because of language barrier. The system of education which is now is totally different from the scenario above mentioned. Schools now are categorized into public or private. The preparatory primary level consists of nurseries, kindergartens, moving on to 6 years of primary education, followed by 6 years of secondary education including the K-12 program, and college which has 4 stages. Learners are provided by the government enough of classrooms, textbooks, and school learning facilities. However, due to COVID-19 pandemic, we are now having this new mode of education, which is the online learning via Google Classroom and modular learning. Today's students have wealth of technology literally at their fingertips. With technology developing at such a rapid pace, it's not stretched to imagine that education in future will look very different. Classrooms in Manyo Integrated School will be less important. Learners will be pursuing online programs. Education will be truly democratized and globalized, with students unhindered by age, social, geographical, or national boundaries. Using holograms, learners will be able to have the same experience as their on-campus counterparts. In addition, teacher robots will prepare courses, give lectures, answer questions, set and mark assignments, and provide timely and insightful feedback. Looking back to the previous local government system in Manyo history, I can see that our present government system is somehow shaped and patterned from the previous system that we built in our community. Prehistorically, I have seen how they established their government, and basically, I can say that it is far more primitive than the present system that we have. Long before, Manyo was ruled by a local paramount ruler called Dato. Nowadays, Manyo is using democracy as a form of government, in which the powers are in the hand of residents in order to ensure governing that is in favor of the people. The residents are given the opportunity to choose who rules over them, and often each vote counts equally. These provide the people with both liberty and equality, which are highly regarded values. It has an elected punong barangay, a sangguniang barangay consisting of 7 elected members and a sangguniang kabataan chairman, and a separate appointive secretary and an appointive treasurer. Altogether, 11 barangay officials. In addition, our barangay had organized a lupo ng tagapamayapa consisting of a chairman and 10 to 20 members. Furthermore, our barangay had organized a pangkat ng tagapagkasundo consisting of 3 members and organized local tanods. All of them have several powers, duties, and functions in order to ensure security and prosperity of our community. In the near future, Manyo form of government will remain the same, but because of COVID-19 pandemic, we will be having this first virtual election. Great reliance in technology will occur. The main source of livelihood in Manyo is the vast ocean and wide land surrounding it. For reason, Manyohanon delight in seafoods and vegetables. Fishing and farming was their primary source of income before technology and modernity gained footholds. Nowadays, there were still fishing and farming. Some may earn through weaving baskets of different size and design, poultry farm, and hog racing. However, the world of work is changing radically. Virtual reality is booming in the middle of pandemic. Possible livelihood of Manyohanon in the future are making and selling of gadgets necessary for virtual reality. Public service is a service intended to serve all members of a community. Long before, Barangay Manyo offers public services like agricultural support services, health and social welfare service, which include maintenance of barangay health center and daycare center, and maintenance of Katarungang Pambarangay. This day, those above-mentioned public service are up until now. In fact, they provide additional services such as maintenance of barangay roads and bridges and water supply system, emergency services, environmental protection, public transportation, and waste management. In the near future, they will be offering services like urban planning, telecommunication, courts, and military.